Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Heidi, where you can get some Jesus in your heart while you're getting your day started, drinking your coffee, or just taking a break. Welcome. I'm so glad you joined me today. We are talking about habits this month and making healthy change. And as I mentioned in one of my last videos, I'm focusing on some different ways to improve my health. So instead of coffee today, which I already drank, but I am having a carrot and spinach and lemon smoothie. And let me tell you, it is every bit as delicious as it sounds. Well, anyway, I don't know what changes you are trying to make in your life, but one question that's been on my mind is, how do we make lasting change? One of the reasons I think our changes don't always last is because we are doing it for the wrong reason. Sometimes we do things because of external pressure, because other people think it's something that we should do. They say, oh, join me in this fad diet because I'm doing it, we should do it together. And while making changes together is a great option, if you're just doing it for them and not because you believe that's a change that you need to make in your life, it's probably not going to be a lasting change. External pressure throws off our convictions. Think about it this way. If you're doing something to try to get somebody's attention and they don't notice, or if you're doing something to get somebody's appreciation and they don't appreciate you, how are you going to react? Oh, forget it. Nothing's ever good enough for you. I'm just not going to do it. I mean, get real with me. Have you ever been there? I know I have been there where I'm doing something for someone else and I just forget about it because I'm not getting the response that I want from them. But Jesus didn't have this problem. When we see him in the beginning of John, he is on this wave of great popularity at the beginning of his ministry and all the people like him. But Jesus doesn't do at this time what a lot of us would do. He doesn't check his social media likes. He doesn't check to see if he's trending. He just goes off of what his deep internal convictions are of what the Father wants him to do. And this is what he says in verse 224. When all the people are loving him, it says, but Jesus didn't trust them because he knew what people were really like. No one needed to tell him about human nature. Now, what do we know about human nature? It's fickle. People change their minds a lot. If you do what they like, they love you. If you don't do what they like, they don't love you. Jesus knew all of these things. And so he wasn't looking for the popular opinion to decide if he was doing what was right or wrong. He was going by his convictions from what the Father wanted him to do. Another way we can see Jesus react is when the crowds didn't like him. And we see this over in chapter 5, when he was getting all kinds of pushback and criticism from the people in the crowd. And in this case, he says in verse 41, your approval or disapproval means nothing to me. Wow. Oh my gosh, that is so strong. How many of us can really say that others' approval or disapproval means nothing? I mean, that's a hard thing to do. But what Jesus knew, just like he said earlier, he didn't trust the crowds because he knows what people are like. And so he didn't need their approval, but also when their disapproval came, he was not fazed from those convictions. So here's my challenge to you. If you're trying to build a new habit, ask yourself this question: who am I doing this for? If I'm doing it for the crowd, it's probably going to be really hard to make it be a lasting change because we'll be basing it on others' approval or disapproval. But if we're doing this because of a deep personal conviction about, say, if I don't change my habits, I'm not going to be around to see my kids graduate high school. I mean, if I had a health issue that was that dire, I would be making big changes right away. And when we have that kind of conviction, we can do hard things. But the other one that we need to look for is this something that God is calling me to right now? And it may be that you need to make changes or lose weight. And I'm only picking on that because it's always the number one resolution based on surveys. But if we're doing it because it's something that we want to do for ourselves, that's great. But what if God has another priority for you? What if God says to you, I want you to be healthy, but my priority for you that I really want you to focus on is spending more time with your kids? Or what if God says, my number one priority for you is you need to change that nasty habit of speaking down to others based on your own insecurity? Again, what would the crowd say? Maybe the crowds would say, hey, you're a great parent. You need to give your kids some space, let them figure it out on their own. Okay, that might be true in some cases, but what if God is saying, lean into this relationship right now because there's something going on that you don't know about yet? Or what if when it comes to the way we speak to others, people in your career field are saying, don't worry about it. You got to be assertive. You got to hold your ground, show that you're strong. Don't take anything from anybody because that's how it is in this industry. But what if God says, in my kingdom, I want you to treat people with dignity. I want you to give respect to others and kindness, even if they haven't deserved it. And if the world doesn't approve you, then I will approve of you and I will open doors for you in your career that no man can open or close. God has resources far beyond anything that the world could ever give us. So there's my challenge to you today. Think about those habits you're trying to do and think, is this something that I'm doing for the right reasons? Who am I doing this for? Why am I doing it? If it's for the crowd, maybe not the best thing to focus on. But if it's something that God is calling you to right now because He knows what's going to give you the best future, that's something that you can lean in. And as my son's kindergarten teacher said, we can do hard things. Keep pressing in, making those healthy choices, even if it's not always the most delicious choices. But I hope that you have a great day. I hope you enjoy your coffee. I hope you give this some thought on what are some changes I can make that God is actually calling me to right now. Have a great day, guys.